Today I'm going to be showing you how I farm the artifact of the brute. This is a farming method, and yes, I'm going to show you where the location is. I'm going to show you how I farm it and the setup that I've done. I'll also explain a couple of other setups that you can do to farm this as well. This just happens to be the farming method that I am using at the moment. So yeah, we'll get straight into it. I'll show you the location on the map where we are for the brute. This is an underwater cave, and it is kind of located just in here, which is about 53 latitude and 10 longitude. I will show you in a minute exactly where there is. There's also a loot drop here, you can see there. Now what I've done is I've set up this little underwater base. You can do one that's on the shore as well, but I'm on a public server and I've found I try to do that and there was just no space out there for me to set this place up. So I basically have, let's put on a scuba tank and just show you what we've got going on here. So just make sure, actually I don't really need the mask. That's a gas mask. Okay, so I've set this up. These are like this 3 hab underwater habs. You obviously need the tech to be able to do this. They're not that expensive really. It's worth it if you're going to be farming this particular thing. Now I found a location that I could just set it down. I could have used a pillar. This is about as close as I could get to the cave anyway. As I said, I'm on a public server and I've just set this up in here so I can set up some basic things that I need. So what I've got in here on this particular one is a tech generator. And I also just has the cryo fridge as well, and I've got a bed just in case, not really needed. I've also put a small tech transporter in here as well. This is to get back and forth from my base really easy. I put a vault in here. I just put a fridge. If I get fish, I just take it back to the base as well, and a vault just to store scuba gear and anything else that you may need that you've got. I would just keep it in there. It's nice and handy. You can, of course, if you've got the transporter, just bring it with you. But if I forget, it's in there and I need, no need. Now, the idea of having the cryo fridge is it's a small base. So I've got a Bazzy in here. And essentially what we want to do is we just want to place him outside. So I'm just going to get out here. We just chuck him out. And there we go. So that was pretty easy. So if you've got any questions about this base at all, pop them in the comments below. But essentially, that's what you want to do. And all right, we're going to level up here. We'll just level him up a little bit more, just in some melee. And this guy's, well, I'll just show his stats. He's currently, what is he, 255, which is not amazing. He's got 24,000 health. And melee is at 256 at the moment. So, but he gets you through the cave. I think this is the best guy definitely for the cave. So if you're going to farm this particular cave, then that's what you want to do. Now we'll check the loot location out quickly, although it's very rarely there because so many people on this particular server are farming it. But the loot location is down in here, and I can already tell it's not here because it's not glowing enough. But let's bring it up. I've got the exact location on the... It's basically right there. So that location, if you want to know, is essentially 52.2. I guess is probably the easiest way to do it. And yeah, so that's the loot location. All right, let's go and show you where the cave is. So the cave is just kind of, there's a shark following me. It's all right. It's just kind of in this wall area over here. You'll be easy to find because it's got this white crystal sort of area. Now this is Ascended. It does probably look a little bit different on non-Ascended. So I'll just quickly show you the exact location that we are at to go in. It is 54.5, 33.8. So that's the location there that we're going into the cave. One thing I would recommend in this, as I said, this is just going to be for farming the brute. It's not. I'm not going to show you any other locations in here. This is pretty much just getting straight in and out and be done with it. So if you are looking for notes, then this is not the video for you. But you can get them in here. So when you get to this section here, you're just heading straight in. You'll see this really white kind of glowy area here. There's actually a few things in here, but on an official server this gets farmed pretty regularly, I believe, so it's usually reasonably empty, I've found. But there has been the odd time where I've been just completely destroyed in here. So I go in here real slow and just make sure nothing. Oh, we've got a stingray, nothing. These guys are not really much of a challenge in here, so we'll just get rid of them. Now, we're going to head up this way. Usually that first area is where you'll get attacked a little bit. It's usually just some sharks and some electric eel type things. Now, when you get into this section, we've been pretty lucky. I'd say someone's just been through here recently, because that section is usually got a few sharks and stuff to deal with. You want to head up. It's a lot easier if you just head up to the surface here, because it'll actually guide you through. It can get a bit confusing if you don't. You just want to follow it through. So you can see you can go to that right section. I've many times turned into there accidentally and sort of like, where the hell am I? So you want to head down this way and just go through, following it around this corner. Now usually there's a loot drop just there. If it's glowing, you can see it in front of that kind of red thing, but it's not there today, so we'll head on through. And there's sometimes one in the water just below us too. So as I said, someone's probably just been in this cave, I'd say. But this Bazik can deal with it pretty much relatively easy. Now this bit where it gets a bit, you want to drop down underneath. So here we go, we've got a little bit of company, and we've got a shark down here, so we'll just get close to these guys. Let's take these guys out. Now the electric eels are no problem, and the shark by itself not an issue, so we'll try and get rid of him before something else arrives. We're level 50 in here, it's quite low. I'm just trying to knock this guy off. There we go. Alright, so that was that. Now this, if you don't attack any of the fish in here or the stingrays, they tend to not attack you. So just bear that in mind. So you can just keep swinging through. And we've got, let's go a little bit further. This guy can keep harassing us. Now when you get to this bit around here, you're going to just turn right and down. And go underneath again. And then you're going to pop up over here. Now, as I said, this server is pretty full of people. Usually, you know, between 10 and 30 people on at a time. But you can see all the rafts, and people have actually got bases and stuff in here. And you want to make sure you've gotten rid of everything before you hop off. I've gotten off before and had one of these electric eels take me out annoyingly just as I was picking up the brute. So you want to head on through. Oh, there's another one. Okay. When they get too injured, they will run away, so I try to hunt them down so they don't come back and annoy me. Alright, let's head back on up. I'll show you where the brood is. There's also a couple of drops in here as well sometimes. So we're going to head on this way, and the brute is just below us in the water. Back a little bit. It's actually usually about here. So there it is. It's just popped up. I missed it. There it is there. So it's just on this ledge. You can see it there. Now, as I said before, make sure you have your flippers on and you are ready to go. Make sure there's nothing around you coming in. Last thing you want to do is get off your tame, and then now you can only carry one of these at a time, and I don't bring an otter in here with me because the electric eels kill the otter, and it can be an utter pain in the ass. So you don't want to lose your otters, so don't take them into the ocean, even though they can. Now this little section here, you can see there's a loot drop down there, and just going to make sure again, like I said, no eels or coming in. It's usually the one thing you want to swim down quickly and grab that. There's nothing terribly exciting today, although no Spino salad, that's nothing we need, but it is the luck of the game, and that is pretty much it. So what I do now is for this farming method, is essentially you've cleaned the cave out, or someone else has done it for you. In my case, you want to head on out just the same way you came in. So I'll show you that again, and you'll be heading back to your little base, basically using that vault, or as you saw, I had an otter with me, but I left him there. The vault or the otter, I will be using the otter just a lot easier because you can only hold one of these at a time, and it saves you zapping back and forward. So I put the otter in that little base, and when I get there, I'm going to load him up with these artifacts, and then I can just rerun this again and again. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get 2 or 3. By the time you get out to your little base and come back in, you'll find that the brute has respawned again for sure. And that is it. So we'll fast forward to where I get out of here. As you can see, it's pretty clear in here at the moment, and we will, because the way in is pretty much the same, the way out is the same way in, as you can see, and we've got no resistance on the way out, but things will respawn in here, so just be aware of that. We'll head on to the otter. I'll show you how that works, and then we'll head on back in, and I'll show you it respawning, just for those who want a clearer picture of how it all works. So we'll head there now. All right, we are back at my little underwater base, and I just left my Bazzy outside. So now we have our otter. As I said, you can just put it in a vault, but you can only hold one of these at a time, but your otter can hold many of these. These things, they weigh 5, and I'd also say kilos. So the weight on him, as you can see, is basically, he's got 84. So essentially I could load him up with, 16 of these if I wanted to, almost. So, and then just pick him up and take him back. So, and I'll just hop on the transporter and I'm back home. But it's essentially that easy. So what we'll do is I'll head back in and just we'll skip through to the end just to show you can pick it up, and I'll load up the otter again just to give you an idea of how it all works. Now, if you can't do this because you don't have the tech and stuff to do this yet, as I said, this is a farming method. So hopefully you've done it at least once, and if you've got a little bit of tech, it is worth putting it into the transporter, in my opinion, because my base, if you can have a look, is, well, actually I'll bring it up on the bigger map. My base is actually here where the goose is, and you can see that is quite a bit of distance. And if you got these caves, and there's another cave over here, the cunning, near the cunning, sorry, it's just, I think in here actually, I can't remember which one that is, but there's another underwater cave there. So you want these little setups so you don't have to be going all over the place, and also, there's caves on, this island up here. So the situation would be underwater when you can, because it gets you nice and close to the cave entrance, and then on the surface you'd be just doing this with like a stone or metal structure. A transporter is optional. Obviously you could just use a bird to get you back and forth, but make sure you bring an otter with you, put him in that section, and just basically heading in and out. With the underground caves that aren't water related, you can just hang out in there with the otter if you want to and wait for the time to go over. I will do that on another video for the Megapithecus. I'm collecting them at the moment, so I'll show you on another video of how that works as well. You're basically just sitting in the cave and waiting. No need to go out. As long as you got the otter with you, you can load him up as much as you want. It's just a matter of time, but it is time consuming getting to these locations and then getting back out again. So it is worthwhile doing a little bit of a farming while you're here. So we'll head in again, and we'll show you loading up the otter with some more relics. And guys, if this was helpful so far, just hit that like button, and that would help me out heaps. And consider subscribing. I am going to be covering Ark a lot more. I've loved this game and have been playing it for a while, so follow along. Okay, we've just headed back in. The only thing I really encountered was some more of the electric eels, but you can see there's the brood again. So just again, like I said, making sure nothing is around us. Head on down, grab it, back on, and you can check for the artifacts again, but not the artifacts, I should say, the loot crates, like this one here. You can see we just picked it up, so it's not going to be there again. And we will head on back out, show you the otter loading up. There are some other things you can do in here. Like I said, you can get out there and run up that ramp over there. There is a note up there. Just be aware that there are bats. So that could be a bit of a challenge depending on what you brought with you. So this one is just, like I said, a farming run. I want it as easy as possible. Don't want to be contending with anything else. And we're just going to head on back on out again. All right, guys, we're back again, and here's our otter. So we're gonna place him another artifact. So there you go. So there's two. So we can continually just keep doing this. Another idea I had in regards to setting up, if you didn't want to set up an underwater base like this because you didn't want to waste your elements, although like I said, these are only one element per cube, I think, if I recall. So it's more than metal and stuff, is you could set up a raft upstairs up the top, and the raft could then have, you know, all this stuff on it. The teleport, obviously, like I said, is optional, but you could land your bird on the raft, and as long as you've got the cryo fridge, just make sure you're fully in the water when you throw out your bazzy, because you don't want that glitching on the land and dying instantly. I've heard of horror stories of people doing that. So, all right, well, that's it, guys. I'm just going to keep running this a couple more times. I don't like to come out here that often, so, you know, I try and do this, you know, once a week, and do, you know, get as many as I can and load up, and then I'm ready to just do as many of the megapithecus as I can. Like I said, I can just run the easy ones without the spino tails. That's probably the hardest thing to collect on an official server. I know that's a real issue, especially on mine. I did the alpha a couple of times a couple of weeks ago, and I've only managed to find one spino tail since then. Yeah, unless you're hunting them every single day for hours on end, you struggle to find. So anyway, like I said again, guys, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I will see you on the next video. I'm out.